The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Welcome to the Covert Narcissism podcast. I'm your host, RENEE Swanson. I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. If you've ever found yourself questioning your relationship, wondering if you're actually dealing with covert narcissism, or feeling stuck between staying or leaving, this conversation will resonate deeply. In part one of this CNG Community Chat, we explore the early stages of recognizing covert narcissistic abuse, what it feels like when something is off, but it's hard to name, the confusion, the self-doubt that often come with emotional abuse, and the intense pressure to make a decision before you feel ready. This episode is for anyone trying to understand the signs of covert narcissism while navigating fear, guilt, uncertainty, and learning that you are allowed to take a pause without deciding anything. Now let's get started. So today I have with me Dee Dee and Jennifer, and meeting them today for the first time, but I'm very happy that they've agreed to participate in our next CNG Community Chat. I'm really enjoying these. So by the way, I really thank you for being here today. Dee Dee, thank you for stepping in and being willing to share your story here. How are you doing today?
Pretty good today. Like I said, I'm still here. So as long as I stay in my own space, things work better for me. And I'm fortunate that I have that space. So
you're still here
today.
and you're still in the relationship.
I am. It's been 50 years and we have a lot of shared assets. So it's not going to be easy to do.
Fair enough. No, that can get really complicated. All right. Well, I'm eager to dive into this story. Jennifer, thank you as well for being here today. How are you doing?
Thank you, Renee. Yeah, I think I'm doing all right. It's a bit of a mixed day. It's Mother's Day here in the UK, so it's coming to the end of Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
And I've had my trio with me, so it's been swimming lessons. So I think a lot of people can relate to sitting by the side of the pool for hours.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it's been 3 swimming lessons, but I did get my at home, but I did get my cup of tea, jam, scone and cream. So that was
okay. So Jennifer, are you still in the relationship or are you out of this relationship?
I am out of the relationship, but I say but quite relatively recent. I started the separation in August 2023. He stalled telling our children till May 2024. And then the nightmare of selling property and finding property took us to October 2025 in the half term for their schooling. I actually sold to a friend, so it became her home. And my domestic abuse advisor, counsellor, said that I feel that the walls in that house were tainted or something. And she said that the family, because it was her home, in my head, as soon as I knew that she liked the house, she said that family would purify it. And I loved that about it. For my, just to kind of reframe that house for that family. And so it's relatively recent and it's still invisible. It's still invisible. I still feel quite isolated.
It's hard. I mean, the whole process of getting out or getting your autonomy, whether you stay or leave in the relationship, but finding your way back to yourself and your autonomy is an incredible challenge in the midst of covert narcissism. Yeah. Do you, Jennifer, do you have children in this scenario?
Yes. So I have a trio. So my eldest is 10, and then my center one is 8, and my youngest is 6. And there is diagnosed neurodiversity for my eldest, and persistent drive for autonomy, which is pathological demand avoidance, which I hate. And I suspect very strongly diagnoses for my for my center one and for my youngest. So that brings with it, just a plethora of many different sort of
Complications.
layers. Yeah, complicate. Yes, good word.
Yes. Okay. And Dee Dee, in your situation, do you have adult children? Do you have grandchildren? Do you have family that's intertwined here as well?
Yes, I have an adult daughter and a granddaughter.
Okay.
They've moved away, so I have no support system, which is another reason why I'm still involved. It's what happens is you get too many commingled assets, as Jennifer knows, by selling the house. And this was my home that I felt comfortable in while he was having his career. But he recently retired about 5 years ago, and it's been seriously downhill since then. I'm not able to avoid him as much as I was before, and he's bored.
Okay.
And bored narcissists are difficult, very difficult to
can
deal
only
with.
imagine. Yes, I managed to get out of the situation before retirement, hit in my situation, and the thought of being in that environment retired, okay, at home all
It
the time
is.
together was terrifying.
It is. It is. I'm fortunate. We have 2 floors, and I largely spend most of my time on the second floor, which is where I am right now. But there's still the kitchen, and reasons I have to go downstairs.
Sure.
And I'm like most women in my position. You start blaming yourself. Why didn't you do it sooner? And whatever the circumstances were that you stayed as long as you did. I was a stay-at-home mom, and it was really important for me at the time to do that. So I gave up everything for her, including quitting college when I got pregnant with her. So once they grow up and they're gone, you're left with what you're left with, and you have to focus on the life that you're living, and it's not always pleasant.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair. That takes us
it
right to our first question is where in your
Mhm.
life are you feeling the pressure to decide
Yeah,
something right now? I mean, you signed up
yeah,
for you're allowed to pause without deciding anything. So
mhm,
let's dive
it
into
is. I've been thinking about it for years, planning, doing all the suggestions. I just finished watching your podcast about preparing and putting things aside. And, it doesn't mean that you're doing anything evil. It just means that you're taking care of yourself. And that's the way I'm looking at it. And I've been doing that for years. So I'm pretty well set up, other than my attachment to where I live. I love my house. It was my home for 40 years, and he's going to be difficult, not going to make it easy on me, and I know that from experience. He's going to go full-fledged to my throat, is what I feel like. I'm frightened of, I guess I'm kind of at this point where I'm opening up a wound. I feel trapped, like so many of us do, because of the choices I've made. And now that I've been doing a lot of self-care, I'm having a lot of flashbacks of what I really have been living in for as long as I have been living in it.
Wow.
The more you heal, the old reference to peeling an onion, you keep taking off the layers and you think you've dealt with that part of the onion and there's more to deal with. You keep peeling. And that's what I'm doing now. I don't think I'll ever get to the core, but
Well, fair enough. And the more you heal, what I have found is the more you
Mhm.
heal, the more some of those deep wounds start to surface. And
Yes.
so the flashbacks or memories that you had blocked or
Mhm.
things I haven't
Mhm.
thought about in years. And
Mhm.
the fact that some of that is surfacing is not a bad sign. It's a good sign that you're going through some healing. but it's
Mhm.
hard. And I imagine it's even
Mhm.
harder when you're still in the relationship. You're still in the environment
Mhm.
going through
It
that.
is because you get angry. The more I learn and more I heal, the more angry I get at myself, but at the source of
Mhm.
what caused this pain. And I've been witnessing a lot of the signs where, where their eyes go black and, the scoffing and the things they do to downgrade you, to put you back in your spot.
Mhm.
And I'm recognizing that now. So I get angry, very
Yeah,
angry.
I can imagine. And I will say this, that be patient with yourself. Give yourself
Trying.
grace. I know that's hard, but you are unpacking, I mean,
Mhm,
years, 50 years. I was in my
mhm,
marriage 21 years. I
mhm,
had to give myself grace. I had to find
mhm,
that way to give myself, to be patient with myself. Like, that's part of the journey. And I can
mhm,
only imagine 50 years of this, and I have no idea what your
mhm,
background is in regards to your childhood and all of that. There's a
mhm.
lot to unpack.
There is a lot. It's really overwhelming, but you have to live your life. And I'm trying to make the best of what I can
Yeah.
enjoy and do.
Yeah.
You know, can't stay mired in the
You
bad
can.
stuff.
No, I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No,
Yeah.
it's not healthy. You don't enjoy any part of the life. So much of my life slipped by as a result.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm older now, and there's not a lot of time left to enjoy life. So I plan on doing that from here on
It's
out.
never too late.
Mhm. Oh,
So,
good. Thank you.
it's never too late. Jennifer, when did you learn about, I don't know, did you learn about covert narcissism before you left the relationship?
Um, I just wanted to thank Dee Dee so much for sharing so much. I um I don't know, I just sort of feel like um you talked about your home. Sorry, Renee, I'm
Mhm.
not answering your question. I will.
That's okay. We'll come
Um,
back to
um,
it. Go ahead.
you talked about your home and how, you're comfy there and the memories and stuff. And I just feel like all that anger that is so rightly placed and,
Mhm.
now can be dealt with healthily. And girls were never taught to be angry. We weren't, you know,
No,
and I don't want
no.
to be sort of patronizing or anything like that. I just want to,
Mhm,
but it was very much, girls are good all the time.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and anger, I was always led to believe was a really shameful emotion when actually
mhm,
it actually what it stems in is what it needs to change. And I think when I hear you talking about your home, um, and the monumental difficulties of shifting away from that, um, I just feel that um, that so much can't change until that happens. And I just wish
mhm,
that for you. And there is a home. There is bricks and mortar. Well, I don't know. Different houses are built in the States, but there is
mhm,
different. I don't know, like a deck out the front, or like wherever you are. Like there is
mhm,
somewhere else. There is a different lounge. There is a different kitchen where that energy,
mhm,
where that force, where that scoffing, where sorry, I'm getting goosebumps,
mhm,
where all of that, like
mhm,
you have all that, you can take all those memories with you. You don't need to stay in those rooms to live it.
mhm.
You,
Yes.
Mhm.
you can take all those memories with you to that your kitchen, your cupboard that you can arrange however which way you like.
Okay, before we come back to the question, I do want to say I worked with a lady 2 years ago who she was in the marriage. She wanted out. She had discovered, what was going on, and kind of
Mhm,
trying to get clarity and awareness and all of this. She had reached out to me. She was meeting with me in first individual sessions, then group sessions, and then she came to one of my retreats. But she kind of was going through the same thing, was voicing like it was a long-term marriage. I want to say hers was 40, maybe 45 years, something in
mhm,
that range. And she's like, "How can I leave? How can I leave my home? But I have to," at first for a little while, she's like, "Okay, I'll never leave, but let me get clarity." But then as she got more clarity, she's like, "I can't stay," and
mhm,
she ended up leaving and she found a beautiful little home. She bought it all by herself and she was
mhm,
so proud of herself for doing it. and just absolutely fell in love with this new home and a beautiful porch on the front. Like, to hear her talk and to hear what she went through was very inspiring.
And I
Yeah.
feel like that. I feel like that porch, and sorry, I'm being really stereotypical American homes. I know you don't all live with porches, but like I feel like that. Like I've almost manifested this house for you, Dee Dee. Like I've almost
Yeah.
like manifested this other place that gives you so much comfort and so much security and so much safety. Um, and I think with the healing that you're doing and the anger and everything that's coming up, it can only go so far if nothing else changes. And it's so
Yeah,
scary.
that is true.
And it is phenomenally scary. And I think the support network, if it isn't your daughter and grandchild, then it's nearby groups. And I mean that by like book groups or, other avenues like you find at the library or, however.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
The college basketball playoffs are here, and now you can trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Miami is currently trading at 55% to beat Missouri. That means a $100 trade pays out $170 if they win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the odds move, you can buy in and out of your position all tournament long. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code HEART to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
You've got your friends, and
Didi, I
yeah,
hope you're finding that we're definitely in support of you finding what's right for you.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, so going actually back to your original question, when I'll stop going on, Didi. Certainly not Renee at all. I unfortunately found myself very poorly in 2022 with long COVID that lasted about a year with persistent vestibular and nausea, like couldn't eat for about pretty much a year, and fatigue like I've never known, like 6 people sitting on me. So as we all got better, I didn't return to work as a nurse, and then in the summer that I did, and then I relapsed in the September. So much so that I was walking around with a crutch, couldn't take the children up to school, and nursery and things like that. And there was a lot of resentment. Like I didn't know it, but I see it like a drone now. And it was this. I said latterly, it was like a lighthouse. It was like the behaviours like a lighthouse whirls around. It was like, oh, there it is, and then it was there again, and there again.
Then it's dark again, and
there
then it's light again.
And it was like, and I see this, but unfortunately, as we came into 2023, the long COVID and getting better physically, then I rapidly got very poorly mentally. And needed to be admitted to a local psychiatric hospital, so an acute female psychiatric ward. So I have flashbacks of that, but I know I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I think one of my actual fears in life came true. I was locked in. I was I was sectioned in the first part. That's I suppose the Mental Health Act. So I don't know the equivalent in the States, but I was sectioned for 2 weeks. So couldn't leave even if I wanted to. And then I came out and then for 2 weeks and then went back in for 7. So but that was as a voluntary patient. And then again, the resentment was massive. But what was happening then was my family who live in the north of England was seeing a little bit more what was happening because they were more present and they were seeing a little bit more of my body language around him and, things. And they were saying more things, and I was remembering things. So he told me in a locked psychiatric ward in an awful NHS I don't know, we have these very funny little waiting rooms with like tiny little cupboards. He told me I had no resilience. And I remember telling my sister, and she circled back to it. The cousins were all playing, and she said, "Could you just tell me again what he said?" And I think having her sort of take on it, and then because I just believed it, I just was verbatim. I just believed it, and then I think it was like one of your other episodes, the beautiful women were talking about unlocking the keys. You had this key, and then I started volunteering. So my nursing career didn't survive my illnesses, but I started volunteering at a cafe when my little one was at preschool, and I'd have these like weird flashbacks and weird like unlocking moments of like this upon this upon this upon this upon this, and then it was just quite profound and a bit shocking, and like the self-doubt was just I think you talked about that in the episode I listened to. The self-doubt
is
was
overwhelming in all of this.
because I was like, I've got 3 healthy children, I can't do this, I can't do, and I'd had therapy after postnatal depression with my third, and she wrote a report actually for the mediation that went to hybrid, went to solicitors, and I've only been able to read her report once because she picked up on 4 years of working with me and talking about relationship, and it's just I just grieve her a lot. It's a 20-year relationship, it's a 13-year marriage, and I grieve my younger self so much for being this, handed to him on a plate, this emotional, neglected people pleaser. And he must have just, he saw me coming.
So many of us have gone through that. Yes, very much so. So when we are talking about covert narcissism, we don't see it until we see it. Okay, in the marriage, in the relationship, you don't see it until all of a sudden. And I know for me, it was gradual, but then all of a sudden it just slapped me in the face. Like then it was like I couldn't unsee it. Like once you see it, then you also can't unsee it. And then I dove down the rabbit hole of all the information I could get on this so that I could learn about what I was dealing with. And that's when I talk about pausing. That's when I talk about pausing of, whoa, we don't have to decide anything right now. It's not pack a go bag and escape in the middle of the night, like it would be for some relationships. But in these relationships, that's a lot of times not what it means. And when I was in the middle of all of that, I actually had to give myself permission to not decide today whether I'm leaving or staying. And when I was able to give myself that permission, it like took the pressure off. And then I could face this more easily. So Dee Dee, with you, did you jump down that rabbit hole of gathering all the information? And
Yeah, I'm still in the midst of it.
I'm sure. So how long ago did you discover covert narcissism or the phrase?
Okay. I've been aware there's been something wrong all of my life. I went to counseling for years. I was convinced by him that it was my fault. There was something wrong with me, and, I was crazy. He said it in not very nice ways a lot of the times. And because of my family of origin, I believed it because, I was right for the picking. I met him when I was 16 years old. I married him when I was 20. And he came across as the nicest person on earth. So it couldn't have been him. It had to be me. And I believed it for years. And then once I got healthier, much healthier, the counselors always said, well, it's not you that we're talking about here. We need to assess the other half of the situation. And we tried the family counseling, marital counseling, and
How did
he
that
comes
go?
across, well, he comes across as the hero. He's the best ever covert. I mean, if you had a textbook covert description, it would be him. Everybody on earth thinks he's the nicest guy there is. And he only does what he does behind closed doors, and only to me, as far as I know. So, it really messes with your mind, totally,
Absolutely.
for years and years and years. So anyway, I went back and forth to the fact that, maybe he's bipolar, or maybe he has autism. I always knew there was some reason why it couldn't be. You couldn't reason with him. There's no reason, no matter how you turn it around, no matter what you say or how you say it, it's wrong, and they'll flip it on you. I mean, now I recognize it, which is probably another reason why it's not as painful, because I recognize it and I call it out. Basically, I not having circular conversations anymore. I
You
end
call
it
it
like
out to
that.
him?
Yes, I simply say I'm not going to have a circular conversation. It never gets resolved, and I'm not going to do that. I used to get emotional in the past because you get frustrated and you want to resolve it. You want to be peaceful, and it just
Well,
wouldn't happen. So,
you want reconciliation, you want
yeah.
compromise, you want
Well,
closure. I
I
mean,
try
these
to.
are all healthy things.
I always. That's part of what I do. That's been most of my life. I worked as a behavior specialist with problem kids, and that's what I did. It was a source of pride to be able to resolve the impossible situation. It's something that I'm good at, but it never. You can't reason
No,
with
you
people
got
who
the
are
ultimate
unreasonable.
puzzle. You got the ultimate student.
Yeah. Well, you know what was amazing? I would work with the kids and all the training that I had to take and all the things I said. And then I would come home and I'm going, my God, I'm living it again, only there's no resolution. There's no resolution.
Yeah.
There's never resolution. They don't want a resolution.
Mm-mm.
No. No
No,
matter
they're never going to give that.
No. If the sky's blue, it's not blue. If the grass is green, it's not green. Anything to disagree about everything.
Yep.
And I'm no longer frustrated. It took me many years to get to this point. I just won't do it anymore. I guess I'm healthy enough that I'm not going to do it anymore. That's the way it goes.
So that decision's the one that I say is a must. That right there, getting healthy, stepping out of these dynamics, whether I stay or leave the relationship, that's a side issue. So when I talk to my clients and coaching, individual or group, any of that, and they're like, I don't know, should I leave? Should I stay? Look, that's a very personal decision. I'll never push
Yes.
anybody in either direction there. But that decision you just voiced of, I had to get healthier. I had to quit jumping into these circular conversations. I had to quit hanging on to the hope of all the reconciliation or seeking closure so much. That piece, that decision, make it now, make it today, and get there quickly.
Yeah. We've got basically what it amounts to. What I'm living with is bearable. I have no one else. I don't have friend groups. I don't have any family members. Basically, my daughter, she's similar. I would rather not use that location.
Okay.
But she saw this happen her whole life. What went on and the dynamics of it, and what appeared to be losing control over the frustration on both of our behalves. And that's what I feel the most pain around.
Of course.
That she grew up in that situation. And, even though she's an adult, I can still see the damage that was done to all of us.
It's hard.
It's really tough
when our kids go through all of that.
It's the guilt. I know it couldn't have been different. It was the way it was, and I can't change it. But it's still painful,
We are going to take a pause here. In this first part, we heard the very real tension that so many survivors carry: the fear of staying, the fear of leaving, and the pain of finally seeing the truth of what's going on inside your home. That early clarity can bring anger, grief, and overwhelming guilt. But it can also be the beginning of something very important. And in part 2, we are going to go deeper into this. We continue the conversation by taking a look at that guilt, talking about it, of exploring responsibility and what it means to start living instead of just surviving. We also talk about how to pause and how that pause can create the space that you need in order to move forward. So please join us next week as we continue this conversation. And in the meantime, I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. If there were ever an audience that I wish did not have to exist, it would be this one, because of what it means you've lived through. I'm truly sorry that you understand this so deeply, and I'm really glad that you're here. May this be a place of safety, clarity, and peace. You are not alone anymore, and you don't have to figure this out by yourself. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe so you don't miss future conversations. And if you'd like to learn more about the support, resources, or coaching that is available for you, you can visit covertnarcissism.com. While I hate it for everyone who understands what I am talking about, I'm really glad that you're here, and I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. The information provided by RENEE Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. RENEE shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those that she has worked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or support a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and the information provided. Thank you.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.